My name is Chef Swat, and we are on a mission to defeat Elden Ring from start to finish using all 411 unique weapons this game has to offer. Today's weapon is the Grafted Blade Greatsword, and it was requested by the Hungry Hippie over on YouTube. Throughout the course of this video, we will first get into a breakthrough of the optimal starting class when using this weapon. In that class screen, we will get over how should you upgrade these stats to maximize this weapon in a playthrough, where should you focus on, and in what order. Are there any soft caps, hard caps, when leveling the stats? From there, we're going to transition into a full breakdown of the build. I'm talking psychic flask, talismans, any weapon pieces, etc. After that, we will be going to footage of how the weapon performs with the build to all the 14 required bosses that you're going to have to beat to become the Elden Lord. And finally, at the end, we will be having a tier list where we will rank this weapon compared to the over 20 weapons we have played through so far, which will continue as we beat Elden Ring with all 411 weapons. So, without further ado, let's get to the starting class. The optimal starting class for using the Grafted Blade Greatsword is actually going to be the Vagabond. Now, you might initially think that is the hero class because the hero class brings us in all the way at 16 strength, and the Grafted Blade Greatsword requires 40 strength and 14 dexterity. However, the hero class only brings us in at 10 dexterity, while the Vagabond class brings us in at 13, making the Vagabond a slightly superior choice when trying to wield this weapon. The Grafted Blade Greatsword is such a high requirement type of weapon that if you want to utilize it to the max, I would definitely recommend a full playthrough to New Game Plus, because you're going to need in your high 20 strength to wield it along with a good dexterity, and that's if you're two-handing it like we did in this build. So for this run, we're going to consider you a New Game Plus or ahead, being that it has a high requirement of 40 strength and 13 dexterity to be able to use. Now, the Vagabond class does bring us in at rune level 9 with 15 into Vigor, 9 into Intelligence. We have 10 into our mind. We have Endurance all the way at 11. We have 14 Strength, 13 Dexterity, 9 in Faith, and 7 in Arcane. And when leveling this class, we want to first obviously focus on getting those required stats in order to wield it. For Dexterity, go ahead and bump that up just 1 point, and then focus on Strength. You're going to need a whopping 28 Strength before you can wield this two-handed, or 40 if you want to wield it in one hand. Regardless, we're going to want to start by getting the bare minimum of 28 to two-handing it before flipping over to our Vigor, where we will upgrade from 15 all the way to 30 for early game survivability. From there, we're going to need to focus on our Endurance, and we're actually going to need to get this all the way up to 20 because this weapon is so heavy, weighing in at 21.5 pounds. We need to be able to wield the weapon and light roll, etc. From there, we are going to finish pumping out our late game Vigor from 30 all the way up to 50 for that late game survivability. And finally, we will pump all remaining points into Strength, since this weapon has such high scaling with Strength. Now that we know the optimal starting class, we know the required stats and what to level them in what order, let's get into a breakdown of the build. Now that we've finished going over a breakdown of the class, let's go over the build itself. So, the Grafted Blade Greatsword is a colossal sword, contrary to the name Greatsword in the title, with a devastatingly high amount of physical damage. You can see right here, it is over 900 per hit when fully upgraded, with a B scaling in Strength and a D scaling in Dexterity. Being that it is such a big weapon with so much damage, we decided to take advantage of that by two-handing this weapon with the DLC talisman, the two-handed sword talisman, which will increase all attacks when two-handing this weapon by 15%. That is going to stack with our claw talisman to increase all jump attacks by 15%. This means that's while two-handing this weapon, which we will be doing the entire playthrough, if we do a jump attack, all those jump attacks will do a 30% total boost. And that's before we stack in our jump armor. We're using the Greybird's Black Coat armor, but you can use the Raptor's Black Feathers if you don't have the DLC. Both of these armor pieces provide a direct 10% boost to all jumping attacks. Now that we have the armor out of the way, let us go and break down the talismans that we are running for this build. The rest of the talismans are the Axe Talisman, which is going to power up our charged attacks by an additional 10%. And that is going to stack with the spiked crack tier, which will charge them up an additional 20%. So all of our heavy charge attacks are getting a whopping 30% boost, plus 15% for the two-handed sword talisman, for a total of a massive 45% boost. And then lastly, we have the Dragon Crest Great Shield for some damage absorption. And of course, we'll be stacking that with the Opioid hard tier in our flask. Now that we know the weapon, the armor, the talismans, let's take a look and see how this weapon's going to perform against a random NPC, such as our friend the White Mask here. So when using this weapon, its Ash of War is interesting because after we pop our flask, we pop the Ash of War and we get a +5 into all stats for the next 60 seconds. So we jump, one jump attack, we follow it up with a heavy, and then its unique Ash of War powers us up with another endurance. One of the added effects of this weapon is once we pop it, we get Endure for an additional 5 seconds. So right there, we're able to tank the attack, we're able to trade the attack, and despite the blood proc, we were able to devastate Varus after allowing him a couple of heals. Now that we've gone over the build and we've seen it in action against an NPC, let's check out how it performs against the 14 mandatory bosses required to beat the game. Starting with the first boss, Margit. So we can see after just one hit here, one fully charged heavy attack, Morgott's health gets chunked to over half. A second one causes him to get set up for a critical strike, and then the follow-up attack as he gets hit puts him within one shot of finishing off the Fell Weasel. The Grafted Blade Greatsword's start to this run has been absolutely phenomenal. A total of 4 heavy attacks plus a critical strike takes off Margit, and new game +5 as we continue to head on towards Godrick. Now, normally when we fight Margit, anytime we're able to get a critical strike off, we are able to finish him up before he can finish a single attack, and that was the case here. So with all of that being to take into account, the overall difficulty rating for the first boss of the game ended up clocking in at just a 2 on 10. He did get off one hit. It did take us a couple of times to get him down to where we could finish him off, but we were never in any real danger. Now let's continue to Stormville Castle and see how the weapon performs against Godrick. So when you're fighting Godrick, you want to first pop your flask before you enter the arena, and right before you engage him, pop your Ash of War to get to +5 in all of your stats. He's going to jump towards you, which allows you to dodge through his jump attack, getting one heavy attack off here. What you want to do is ideally trade with him. I was about to frame away there because we want to build up his stagger to get him into second phase. Now, right there, we were a little bit short, but because he did the windmill attack, that allows us to back up, and what we're going to be able to do is transition him to second phase, and while he's transitioning, get another hit off on him, so that way his stagger bar is building up, and when second phase starts, after we run through his flamethrower, we're going to be able to stance break him and critical strike him. This is an effective way to defeat Godrick because a lot of people don't attack him when he's doing his transition because he has a massive damage reduction. However, when using these colossal weapons such as the Grafted Blade Greatsword, that stagger bar, the invisible bar that all enemies have before they get stance broken, is building up, and this is going to allow us to get a clean sweep once second phase starts. In order to get a 1 on 10 difficulty rating, which is what we aim for, the better the weapon performs, the lower the difficulty. We need to be able to beat him before first phase ends. We weren't able to do that here, but we can still get the 2 on 10 difficulty for Godrick if after the transition we are able to stance break him and finish him up before he can do an attack past his opening flamethrower sequence. So here we go from here. When as soon as it starts, we're going to charge him down and attempt to get him in that stun lock type of maneuvering. So you see right here, right to the flamethrower, we're able to get one heavy hit, and I'm thinking right here, we might be able to stagger him, and there it is. We get the stagger off, finish the critical hit just like we planned. The overall difficulty rating ends up clocking in at just a 2 on 10 for that reason. Now let's head to the Academy. First boss, the Red Wolf. I say when fighting the Red Wolf, we know it's a glass cannon type boss. He's going to be very fast. He's going to do a lot of damage and be very mobile. So on this fight, we're probably going to have to rely more on the jump attack portion of this build, letting us get in and out. But there is a couple windows to get a heavy attack in. We saw right there, it wasn't quite fully charged, but then we see why it is going to have to be a lot of those jump attacks as we miss another window and have to dodge to the boss here. Fully charged heavy goes out. We're able to follow up, and although we trade with the boss, he's only one shot away there, but he's taking significant damage on us. We're going to heal back up. We're going to go through the sword slam down attack, finish off the boss. It was a bit harder than normal, the Red Wolf, due to how slow that these colossal swords are when two-handed them. So because of that, the difficulty was a bit higher. We almost lost one, so it was a 5 on 10 difficulty. But that being said, with the Grafted Blade Greatsword, you expect that with some of the faster enemies. The next one is a lot slower in the Moon Queen, and let's see how the weapon performs there now. So when fighting Rennala in phase 1, the first thing you got to do is bop the 3 choir children, each with the light bulb over their head. So that's going to be number 1, this will be number 2, and third time's the charm. And what we're looking for in this stage is the weapon good enough to get her before she goes back up inside of her cocoon? So if we are able to clear first phase, that's going to be a perfect score for phase 1, a 1 on 10 difficulty, which we're able to get here. And when phase 2 starts, it's all about, are we able to take her out before she can really get a bunch of attacks going? So right here, because she is going to hit us and kind of run away from us, I'm thinking, hey, can we get a chance to do some of these more mobile type of attacks? You see right here, she just now, for the first time, transitions down for a summon. She is now gotten up, I believe, 2 attacks. And she is one shot from getting taken out, which we're able to do in short work right there. Because of that, it was a very easy fight. The Moon Queen is a true 1 on 10 difficulty. Up next is the Atlas Plato and the Dramatic Tree Sentinel. So when you're facing the Dramatic Tree Sentinel with a colossal sword, such as the Grafted Blade Greatsword, an excellent strategy is to approach them on horseback, pop your Psychic Flask, and when you dismount the horse, you're going to actually be able to get in a free heavy jump attack. You can immediately then follow that up with a fully charged heavy, and a second fully charged heavy will proc a stagger. You see here, we crouch down to regain our stamina, hit the Dramatic Tree Sentinel on its way out, followed up with another jump attack. And now we will regain our stamina, dodge a couple of attacks here, and we're just looking for another window to get another jump attack in. As so, we'll get another dodge in, and then he'll use a follow-up attack to hit us. But we're fine with that trade because at this point, the boss is only 1 hit, which we finish him off there with a fully charged heavy. Dramatic Tree Sentinel, when using the Grafted Blade Greatsword, but this strategy is quite easy. It's only a 3 on 10 difficulty, as he is only able to get off 5 attacks hitting 1, and we were able to finish him off in short work. Now, let's head upstairs to the Ghost of Godfrey. When taking on the Ghost of Godfrey, you want to pop your Psychic Flask and your buff right before engaging. And keep in mind with this enemy, you want to look for safe punishes, because the Ghost of Godfrey has a very fast counter-attack play, and we spend the first part of this fight seeing which one of these windows we can safely hit. We ideally like to do the heavy jump attack because it does build up a lot of stagger. Unfortunately, though, as you'll be able to see here shortly, the window of recovery is not going to be quite high enough with the heavy jump attack, so we ended up switching to the lighter jump attacks during this phase. As we get the 1, 2, 3, we crouch to recover our stamina right here. We do it the heavy attack, but we are locked in the animation a couple frames too much with the Colossal Greatsword weapon class, and because of that, we weren't able to consistently get that punish in. Now, we are going to give it one more try just to confirm, but rest assured, you're going to have to stick with the lighter variant of the jump attack because you do get a couple extra frames of recovery in order to make the most out of this boss. So as he does his stomp attack, you want to jump over it, dodge to, and then dodge the final hit before he's going to go for his overhead horizontal slash attack. He'll do a jump attack, letting us get a charge attack to punish. Tactfully missed, dodges attack, and now we are in a great position because he is going to actually chase us with the stomp, allowing us to jump over it, bait him out of the corner, jump the next, dodge the swing, dodge the follow-up, and now we can get a quick poke in, left, right, optional third, and he does do it, and at this point he'll jump away from us. We barely missed the jump, but he is one shot, and we're able to finish him off with a jumping heavy attack. As long as you follow this strategy against the Ghost of Godfrey, stay on his hip, that's going to be his his right hip, your left as you're looking at him, just like we did on that fight. The difficulty with the Grafted Greatsword isn't too bad at all. It only clocked in at a 4 on 10 as he did get a couple of hits in, but it was a nice warm-up before Morgott, the last of all kings. Speeches aside, and it is a great cutscene, don't get me wrong, this boss is going to be a testament for the recovery animations of this weapon. So he's going to come into his arena, talk a shite, as he's deserved, everything he's done for Lindale, and we are able to start it off with a jump attack, quick trade with him, and that's going to allow us to bait out his holy attack. We are able to dodge to that, get a fully charged heavy attack as a punishment, and be able to get out of there before following it up with another massive heavy attack. Now, we are being a bit aggressive because we know he is fully in range to proc Swords of Revealing Light, as he does here. When he does that, we're able to get him again, and he was one hit away from getting triggered into second phase, so a bit unlucky on that end, but that does show you the weakness of this weapon class, being that the time to do the attacks are a lot slower than normal. That being said, we're still able to get a fully charged heavy, followed up with a second one, and because we got 2 fully charged heavies off in such short succession, even though we had to run away here, we know that he has a stagger incoming, so he's going to come in with his Ash of War. We're going to be able to charge up another fully charged heavy. One more hit should do it damage wise, and it certainly will finish off Morgott. That last light attack does the trick. He did get a couple of hits in on us, but overall we were never in any true danger into the fight due to the overall devastating damage of the Grafted Greatsword. The difficulty ended up being only a 3 on 10. Let's head to the mountaintops of the giants. Right when the fight starts, go ahead, charge the fire giant, jump off of the horseback, and then when you land, follow up with fully charged heavy attacks as we did here. He will roll away from you, but we'll be able to cheese him back down. I'll make sure that we keep the pressure on him, because if we are aggressive enough, we will actually do enough damage to get a stagger and stance break this boss, as we almost gets right here, but it does allow us to fully charge up a heavy attack, following it up there, and we know he is very close to transitioning to second phase at this point. So we'll stay at full health to keep all of our buffs activated. We'll dodge to the tracking fireball as well as the homing missile fireball, hit him with another fully jumping heavy, and then when I seal the sealed slam, I know that we're going to be going for a fully charged heavy to proc that second phase strat, which we get right there. Now when second phase starts, he's going to put his hands right in front of him, and that fully charged heavy will proc a stagger due to all of what we did at the end of phase 1. This will let us get in a couple more fully charged heavy attacks, and you see right as the fight starts, the fire giant is already only at 20% health remaining, and that is due to those fully charged heavy attacks at the end of Act 1. So whenever you're fighting the fire giants with the Grafted Greatsword, you want to time out that stagger like we did there in order to make sure he's in a world of hurts right when second phase starts, and the best way to do that is spreading out those attacks in phase 1 and collecting them all together at the end of phase 1, so that way when he puts those hands down, we are able to time out the stagger and really get a big punishment off on the giant at that point. Now, after a couple of attacks, we'll be able to get off our fully charged heavy. When he's doing his volcano attack with this weapon, we want to back up with it, as we did at the start. And from there, it's all about the rinse and repeat strategy. We're going to dismount the horse. We're going to hit him with a heavy jump attack. And from there, we will see if he is rolling or if he is staying. If he is rolling, we'll chase him down and repeat. If he is staying, we'll be able to hit him with 1 to 2 of our fully charged heavy attacks like we saw on the last sequence. The next tip to keep in mind when fighting the fire giant using the Grafted Greatsword is that whenever he uses those fireball trackers, you want to immediately pop them like we did right there. If you keep those things around as he's rolling around the arena, they quickly become too much for you to keep track of in addition to him, and so the sooner they are out of the way, the better, as we do get 2 more fully charged attacks off with the Grafted Greatsword, making excellent work to the fire giant. From there, we're able to get off another heavy jump, although he does roll away at the last second, taking actually our first bit of damage in the fight, which is great for a fire giant, but it's going to be too little too late at the end of the day. A heavy jump attack will almost finish it off, and then 1 more hit will do the trick. The fire giant went down. He only had time to get off 1 single hit against us. Phase 1 was fully dominated with the staggers, and phase 2 was over before it started with that tip using that sequence with the hand at the start of the phase. Using this strategy and this weapon, the difficulty of the Fire Giants with the Grafted Blade Greatsword only comes in at a 3 on 10. Let's head to the Crumbling Farm Azuka and see if we can cook up some Godskin Gumbo. When getting the ingredients for the Godskin Gumbo, you first want to pop your Psychic class when you're into the arena. Then you want to pop your buff with the Oath of Vengeance, which is this weapon's unique buff that gives you a +5 to all stats for 60 seconds, including the Endurance buff for the first 5 seconds. Now, when you get into the fight itself, you want to punish only these safe windows, such as when the Godskin throws a fireball or when he does a slam attack. These are excellent windows, where as long as the skinny Godskin is backed up, you'll have plenty of time to punish. Right here, he does go for the double slam, and instead of going for the immediate punish, we decided to get back and heal because he did get us with that second slam, and sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. Still, though, we're able to get him in his rolling animation, and we'll even try to see if we can get some fully charged heavies. We see a whale of damage, getting him down 1, getting him down 2, and now just like that, he's 1 hit. So even though we see the skinny one throwing a fireball, we're able to finish him off. Benefits now, it's a true one-on-one fight. So as long as we are very careful with how we defeat the skinny Godskin, we are not going to have to fight the Godskins 2-on-1 at any point further in this fight. We're looking for safe winners here, such as this fireball throw, or when he does his transition to second phase, we see right here he gets out of it and we're able to wail on him. Another 3 hits before getting out of there during his Ash of War on his weapon. Now when he summons his friend back with his bell, that's a free window to finish off the fight as we do there, keeping it once again a one-on-one fight. So with the round one now, we're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive because he does have a higher health pool. So when using this weapon, the Grafted Blade Greatsword, we want to make sure to, whenever he does slam attacks, whenever he does fireballs, that one is unfortunate RNG because it makes us actually run away from him. We don't get a chance to hit him when he's doing that. So we do come in here for the jump attack and we notice right away he is summoning his friend. And because of that, we are thinking, hey, if we can get a stagger, we can still be okay here. We stay on him. We hit him with the critical strike and we miss the light attack and instead get animation locked, but it's too little too late. So the benefits of this weapon is even if you have a slight hiccup like we did there, you're still able to get the end result the same, a massive W to the incredible amounts of damage that the Grafted Blade Greatsword does when playing smartly, attacking the safe windows that we showed you here. With all that being said, the difficulty the Godskin Duo with this weapon was only a 4 on 10. Let's head up to Malkeith. When fighting Malkeith with this weapon, the Grafted Blade Greatsword, what you want to do is time out the end of first phase so we can stagger him at the start of second phase. And how you do that is by not hitting him all at once right when the fight starts, but rather spreading your hits out until he gets about 20% of his health down, and when he does, we know 2 more hits will get him to his second phase, and when second phase happens, that's when we want to be able to stagger him the start of second phase. So that's right here, we're backing off, we haven't hit him in a while, we're letting him do multiple attacks before coming into punish, not with a heavy attack or a jump attack, but a quick light roll attack. From there, now at this point, we know that he won't get staggered, he's had plenty of time to recover, so we do hit him with that fully charged heavy, maximizing the amount of stagger that we build up on his bar, and another fully charged heavy with him out of the way will bring him into second phase, and we should get a chance to do that here. So when second phase starts, we take 2 steps to the right, 3 steps back, roll true as horizontal strike, and now we can fully charge up this with the follow-up heavy, and we see right there a massive stagger, quick poke, and then we will go for the critical strike. If you try to do a fully charged heavy after, you won't have time to do the crit, so stick with the quick poke right there like so, and then take him out on his recovery. The difficulty of Malkeith using the Grafted Blade Greatsword is an unbelievably easy 1 on 10 when using this stagger strategy. Easy GG's in the Crumbling Farm Azuka. Let's head to the Ashen Capital and Gideon. We all know if you don't first try Gideon, you're going to have a bad time. And because he got us on the attempt before this, As soon as we enter that arena, he's not going to be speaking Japanese, he's going to be speaking Spaminese. And by Spaminese, I mean spamming these spells. We're hit with the debuff right away as he starts his onslaught. We need to clear a fair bit of distance before we can get a single hit off, and he buffs himself with an explosion attack as well. So from here on out, it's going to be, hey, let's figure out where he's rolling to, try to hit him out of his magic attacks, and then we're going to have to get the heck out of there before his buff goes off, dealing a huge chunk of damage to our health. After he does his Kamehameha, we have a window to come in and punish with a heavy jump attack, but he is right back to the spam as he launches off 4 attacks in an extremely short span. We do a jump attack and dodge his magic swords, but that lets him put up his AoE and create some distance between him and us as he heals up. For this boss fight, it's very important to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. So try to play him casual. I don't know. Fly casual, right? Say W Han Solo reference for anyone who might be a Star Wars fan, but I digest. The point of this fight from here on out is going to be, hey, there's a safe window. Let's punish and get in close to him, closing the distance with a heavy jump attack. After we land, we want to follow that up with some light attacks and knock him out of his animation for his spells, keeping the pressure up on him as he debuffs us yet again. The good news is he's already used his heal. So right there, you see we're able to knock him out of his animation for Kamehameha, but it's because he does have that buff on him, that golden bubble, we can't stick around too long and hit him with more attacks or else that will go off. So we hit him once, we hit him with the light attack, we hit him with the follow-up, and then we get the heck out of dodge before that explosion goes off and rings our bell. So he's going to do a couple more magic, giving us another window for a heavy jump attack. We'll try to follow it up with a light attack, but he's quite an elusive little weasel. But it's too little too late. At this point, he's about 2 shots from the victory. We get him there, and we go for another quick, easy one, but we're unfortunately going to have to tactfully retreat. He's 1 hit now at this point, so we'll let the Holy Rings hit us, absorb that. And then from here on out, so we see the Kamehameha, we're going to heal up to full in case we need to trade damage with him one more time. We dodge the onslaught, we jump through the Holy Rings and finish Gideon off. Second try is the charm. Any boss that manages to beat us once is not going to be a 1-on-10 difficult, and this fight took a lot of angling, a lot of follow-ups, and a lot of glory. Gideon's a tough fight, and when using colossal weapons, you really have to time it well, making it a much more challenging fight than some of the faster, shorter weapons. For that reason, the fight difficulty with the Grafted Greatsword ended up being a 6-on-10. Let's continue upstairs to Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. So we need to take into consideration what we learned against the Ghost fight when we fight him here. We're not going to be able to get enough time to get those jumping heavy attacks, and we're going to have to stick to a lot more light attacks than we like to. You see right there, we do the roll poke with these colossal greatswords that they have. Right there, we try for the jumping heavy, see if we can take him out. We weren't quite able to get it there, but we have to learn from our mistakes. Heal back up to full here. Take a bit of a headache with an axe to a head, but nothing but a scratch. And you can really see that's honestly the most damage that we're going to take in the fight, because when using the Grafted Greatsword, you need to play a lot smarter than we did at the start, and we're going to be showing some gameplay of that here. Against Godfrey, he's going to be doing so many quick counter slams with the axe. Right there, you saw instead of going for a jump heavy, we went for that jump light attack, which gave us plenty of frames to get out of the fight, following it up with a light poke attack. From here, we beat his left-right optional turn. We go for the poke. He gets the stomp off, and we once again go for the poke, and we notice one of the weaknesses of this weapon, and it's especially apparent in this fight, and that is it's incredibly short range for being such a massive weapon with the poke. The other colossal greatswords are far superior in that regard, but either way, it's still a colossal greatsword, so we see the damage stacking as we end up getting him to his mini second phase before the real second phase starts. We're able to do 1, miss with our 3rd pick of the match here. 3, another hits off on him. We'll let him do a jump attack, see if he follows up. He doesn't. We'll let him jump away, and then we're going to go for another quick poke. Roll true, another quick poke, and we know he's about 1 hit, and we actually get a stagger. Now, instead of going for the critical strike, we chose to do a fully charged heavy there. Reason for that is if you do hit him into a critical strike at that point of the match, instead of you starting off right next to Godfrey, you will start off wherever you're at in the arena, and we don't want to have to deal with that, so we instead choose to use the fully charged heavy, helping us rebuild our stagger for a critical strike. As long as you get him to about 30% health remaining, you'll trigger this animation, allowing you to get off 2 massive hits, fully charged heavies, which we did there. The third heavy jump attack does stagger Godfrey, allowing us to do the easy critical strikes and finish off the first Elden Lord before he gets a chance to get going in phase 2 at all. We had a slower start at the start of phase 1 just due to trying to track down the appropriate windows, but we found those quickly, made the adjustments. The rest of the fight with the Grafted Blade Greatsword ended up being very easy. Overall difficulty only a 4 on 10 as we head up to Radagon and the Elden Beast. When fighting Radagon, you want to pop your Psychic Flash when you first enter the arena, charge him to get off 2 fully charged jump attacks. Unfortunately, we did get bad RNG in with the quick punish, but we're able to get out of it with minimal damage. Go through some of his attacks, dodge to the grab here, and we should be able to charge up with a fully charged heavy or heal. From there, we decided to heal up to make sure we're at full for the rest of his attacks, as he does do one of his holy double slams, followed it up by a heavy jump attack, and we do get stomp slammed yet again, but it might be too little too late because at this point, he is 1 hit away from getting his animation where he has to stomp the ground and go up into the air. So we know if we can just get a fully charged heavy, as we barely missed there, we can trigger that and potentially end the fight very quick. Here, we'll get a chance to do just that. 1 fully charged heavy from behind will trigger his jump attack. When he does that foot rise, go ahead and jump attack him, dodge to his hammer slam, and get a free heavy slam of your own, and you will be in very close range to the triple slam attack. Roll attack plus a light attack will let us get a quick stagger off on Radagon, and as soon as his left foot hits the ground, start charging your fully charged heavy for an attack off on him. I was a frame away there, but I started a frame late, so that's why right when that foot touches, you want to start charging that heavy. We'll be able to, after his triple grand slam, hit him with 2 fully charged heavies. At this point, he is 1 hit. He's signed off his death warrants with that charge attack, and we are ready for the Elden Beast. The difficulty rating with Radagon only clocks in at a 2 on 10. And the Beast, considering that once we stagger him, his recovery is so long, should be an easy W as long as we stick with our heavy jump attacks and our fully charged heavies. There are a few winners to do this, such as when the fight starts and the Elden Beast starts blowing fire. You see we're able to get off 3 heavy jump attacks, and we do go for a quick one on his way out. So he has been hit 5 times, and we know if he stays in one place, he's going to have a bad time. Unfortunately, he barely gets off his ring around the rosy. I say barely because he can start it as soon as he loses 1/3 of his health, and it looks like he lost exactly 1/3 of his health. So he is barely able to go into that attack, meaning that he is going to get a recovery on his stagger bar, and we want this boss to get staggered due to his long recovery so we can really just start wailing on him. But no worries, even if he runs away cowardly on the map, we're able to chase him down, starts doing our heavy jump attacks again. We do a fully charged heavy attack here, and we get some good RNG now as he goes into his melee attacks. We see the 1, we see the 2, we see the body slam. This is going to let us to our fully charged heavy 1, fully charged heavy 2, and at this point, he is almost ready to get staggered. We're positive after this sequence, we'll be able to proc that stagger and get off a few hits of our own when he is helpless. Right there, the stagger goes. We got off 1 fully charged heavy, and then we're going to go in front of him, and then we're going to go for the critical strike. And after we proc it on his recovery, we should be able to get another fully charged heavy here. And then we does start the Elden Beast attack, the Elden Star attack. We're going to get another fully charged heavy, and he's 1 hit away. And we find him on his way out with the light attack. He tries to run away like a coward, but it is too little too late. Elden Star attack, get the flock out of here. Easy W, difficulty the Elden Beast with the Grafted Blade Greatsword clocks in at a 2 on 10. Now that we've gone over all of the 14 mandatory bosses and how they did, let's see where this weapon, the Grafted Blade Greatsword, ranks on the tier list. The average difficulty rating on a scale of 1 to 10 when facing the 14 mandatory bosses required to become the Elden Lord with the Grafted Blade Greatsword ends up coming in at only a 1.91 out of 10, making the Grafted Blade Greatsword an excellent choice. Tab by your side as he called me Elden Lord. This colossal sword is absolutely amazing at staggering, stacking so well with the two-handed talisman, the jump talisman, the charge talisman. Additionally, the unique Ashavor that this weapon provides, giving you a +5 boost into all your stats, gives you the quick advantage in every fight, and the hidden ability of that Ashavor is that you get the endure side effects for a full 5 seconds. This weapon, while fantastic to the run, is outclassed by a couple of the colossal type weapons over in the S tier. However, as a great sword, this is certainly near the top. Keep in mind that this is a colossal sword and not a colossal weapon, meaning it is a different class than the Blood Fiend's arm, as well as the Falling Star Jaw. And while it doesn't quite offer the versatility that the Greatsword, the God's Greatsword does provide, it is an excellent weapon, and it has earned its place so far at the top of the A tier for above average. Now, enough about what I think about the Grafted Blade Greatsword. I want to know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree with our ranking of this weapon? Is the fact that it is a unique weapon with a unique Ashavor propelled to the S tier, or the fact that you can't put bleed on it or adjust it for certain fights, knock it down to more of an average weapon? What would you personally change in the build? Would you have run this weapon power stance with one in each hand? What were some of the things that you had done differently with the talisman setup? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And until next time, Tarnished, stay maidenless.